What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and in this one I'm going to show you how you can really make some effective build-ups for your songs and really get the drops to hit a lot harder. So I'll be going over a few tricks that you might not have heard before and also some really important techniques that you can implement into your build-ups. So here's a drop that I made for this video, which I'll be making the build-up around. So the main job for a build is to really create like a fusion of the drop and the break and get it into one to where it's a really smooth transition to the drop from the break, because the break should be similar to the drop. So in my case, this break is really similar to the drop because I have those same drop leads and basses there, which normally is not the case, but for this one it is. So we'll start off by putting the lead inside of the build-up, and this is going to tease the listener of the melody and sound. Now, we did, or for this example, I did put the entire drop, lead, and melody and sound into the break, but this is okay. So we can make this unique, and what I love to do is to take out some of those sounds in the lead. So we can take out some of the support layers. So we can take out this layer right here, pretty much anything that's not these main two sounds, and the main sounds come from these top two sounds. And the whole lead sounds like this by itself. So this is going to make the lead for the drop hit a lot harder because it's missing those support elements. So what we can do now is I have a filter made already for the lead. So what we can do is take the filter down. And yeah, I have the filter on the lead right here. Fruity filter, right click, automate that. But we can just get the filter going up as usual, as many of you know this trick probably. So we'll get it going up like this. And one thing I love doing, which I mean, I'm sure a lot of people do it, but I love putting some reverb on the lead bus. Put the wet all the way up, automate the mix of this, so we can right click, automate this. And then now for the build, let's get the reverb going for the whole time and then cut it out. So this will really put the lead back in the mix more and make it sound further away, and it'll hit us a lot harder in the drop. So this is what this sounds like. I think that's a really good trick to do. Next, we are going to focus on some of the chords we're going to do. So for the break, it was we're getting the rhythm of the whole song. Da, 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 da. We're getting that. So we need to go back, dial back. And I actually used some of these synth chords for the intro. It's just some simple saw waves I made, or a simple saw wave, I guess, inside of Silent here. And I also have just a little bit of pitch bend on here, giving it that like effect. So what we can do here is I have a filter on it already, but we're going to make it unique and then make this even bigger. So for the second half of the build, which the second half of the build is really where all the tension comes in. So the first half for me, I like to make it a little boring, so to say, I guess you could say. But the second half is where we're really trying to drive home that all the tension, get it really rising, then make it cut off that last bar. So we can once again cut everything off that last bar like I just said. Then we can keep this to where it's right there. And then now this is going to sound like this with the lead. I'm going to take that pitch bend down, that vibrato down a little bit on this because I feel like it's a bit too much. But either way. So the next thing we're going to do is add a sub sound. So these chords are pretty much taking up most of that low end, but not like the sub. You guys can see it's not really doing the sub, but it's doing what a bass would do. That's how I imagine it in my head. So we can just open up a serum and just go to the sub oscillator, turn the oscillator A off, and we can just make a new pattern and just Command V those bass chords or bass notes in there. Then we'll just get that sub going in there just to make the build a little more powerful. We're not trying to make it too powerful, but we want to make it, I don't know, it makes it sound a lot better with a bass in there. The next thing we're going to do we're going to add a few effects. So something I love to do is keep the same effects throughout the whole entire song. So for this example, for an example here, I have this little break transition here. Keep that going throughout the whole build. Keep the same effects going throughout your whole song, because I feel like that really meshes the whole idea of your song together. So we can drag in this impact right here. Drag that in there. We can drag in also. Let's do this. Actually, this might be out of place, but make this unique. Then we're going to go out a little bit on that. Then for that second half of the build, like I said before, this is the main part, in my opinion. So let's get because we need to get that second half of the build super powerful and just ready to rock. So now we have this. We can also take some of our effects too. So I like to have some sort of white noise crash going into the build as well. So we can just copy and paste this. I think that sounds super cool. And what I love doing too, I don't know if this is like the right thing to do, but I like to take this, make this unique, and then reverse the same exact uplifter or downlifter this is in this case. So if you reverse it, it becomes an uplifter, obviously. So, and I think this makes for a great like mix of kind of keeping the sound similar and just keeping the whole track into one. The next thing we're going to do is also make a riser. Now, I don't know how many of you have made risers before, but it's really pretty easy to do, especially inside of Serum. Like, you guys should really experiment with making your own risers, because you can really create your own kind of sound or create, I guess, signature riser, but you can really create you some really cool stuff. Really cool stuff. So let's draw out a 8-bar note here. We are in G of the song, so put your riser in the key of the song. So we'll do this for 7 3/4 of a bar. So now we just have a saw wave, obviously. But to make this a riser, it's really simple. It's pretty much one technique that can really drive home what a riser does. So a riser is just rising up in pitch. So we can go to our envelope here, put that all the way to the right, put the rate at 8 bars, put it in envelope mode. And then after that, go to the source, LFO1 for the source, destination, global, master tune. And then this is the important part. You can either do 12 semitones, which would be 1 octave up, or 24 semitones, which is 2 octaves up. I'm going to do 24, so type in 24, then type in ST after that. So now we have this kind of effect. And I like to get it going a little more crazier at the second half, so gradually get it up like that. So automatically we have what a riser does. And I'm going to just, now you can kind of tweak the riser to how you want it to sound in your entire song. So I like to play the song with it, play the build up with it, and then just kind of tweak settings as you go along, or as I go along. Maybe we can add an LFO on the volume here too. So this will kind of make it like choppy. And one thing I want to do also is create a filter on this. So maybe we can just put this in our channel, and then we can automate a filter going up. So let's open our filter here, take the high pass down, automate this. And then from here, we can start it low, so we get the low frequencies. And then gradually put it up, because I feel like we don't want it to be too in our face at first. So the next thing we want to do is just keep tweaking it. Another thing I think we could really do is create, so we have one riser going like this, choppy like that, and then we can also have one just kind of stagnant. So this one's going to be higher pitched, maybe a little bit more detuned. We'll go 2 octaves. Well, we'll go 1 octave up. Yeah, so this one is going to be more of like the centerpiece. And we can also make this a square wave too. I think that would sound really good. So we have one saw doing like the choppy one. one thing we can also do here is we can also automate some more reverb here. So we'll do this right here. Open up Fruity Reverb 2, the greatest reverb in history. Then we can just automate this. So just make this going up into the drop. And then we'll also cut it off at that same exact spot. So the only thing we're missing now is some drums. So with all the effects and all the other elements, it sounds like this as of right now. I'm actually gonna make this sweep up a little louder too, because I like a loud sweep up. So probably the most important thing here are the drums, and the drums really play a really key part in this. So we can make a new pattern here, and then let's find some drum samples, which I'm gonna use this Cymatics pack, which it's a free pack I just came across. So snares, we can take one of these. That one sounds pretty good, actually. That one sounds perfect. And a tip here, which is really important, is if you use a swing function in FL Studio, it can really mess up a lot of stuff. So whenever you draw in some snares or any drums, dial it back in the settings, take the swing all the way off, because it can really mess you up. So let's create a pattern here. We can do a normal pattern. If we take the velocity down to the second one, we can really get like a real drummer effect. So if we do this, maybe it's a little too much. So let's dial back. Let's dial all of it back. Okay, now we got this. So for the second half of the snare build, what we're going to do is the same exact thing, but with none of the difference of the velocity. So we're going to keep it a single velocity. And it won't really sound good right now because we're not pitching it up, because we're also going to be putting a pitch bend automation on it. So now for the second half of the second half, I'm really getting really granular here. But for the second half, we can make these really fast. So these will be half of what these are now. And then for the final ones, we're going to make them as fast as we can get. So these are going to sound super like that. But so now it's going to sound really lame right now, so let's get a pitch bend going already. Put this back at 50, then for that second half, like I said before, that second half is absolutely key. So get this going up for that second half. One thing we can also do is make these snares a little bigger, make it maybe a little wider. So we'll put a really short reverb on it, and then we'll also put a filter on, and then let's link this filter to the filter of the lead, or the synth riser. So let's do that. Then we'll automate it to the, where is it at? I think it's this one. Yeah, it should be that one. So I love that. So here are a few snare tricks that we can do with these. So for me, I love doing this. So take this last one and then duplicate it 4 times. So put the velocity down on this last one right here. Put it down like this. Copy it over and then put it up a little bit. And then do that for each time. So we'll go like this. So it'll be kind of like a little snare roll. Like little things like that. Maybe we could do that at the end of this bar too. So little things like this can really make your snares super interesting and pop out. Let's also add a little ride too. So we can make this ride go up through the whole drop, so we can automate the pitch of this. This is a pretty common trick. Not a trick, but just a common thing to do. Get that out for that last bar. And then we can copy this again, put the pitch range to 12, and then let's actually go up, down. There we go. Woo, turn it down. Now the final thing that we're going to do is we're going to create a little fill with some drums. So we can do this really easily. So let's try to think of an idea. So what I think, if you're kind of stuck on like a fill, or maybe you're like, what kind of fill can I create? You can either use a sample, which samples are great to use, like pre-made fills, or you can make your own, and making your own is really fun. So when you do this, try to just listen to like what you kind of hear. So we have a little 2-bar here. So I think what would really be great is adding like a big clap. We'll do this. So we can get this clap right here. And let's do like a little 2-hit. And let's find a cool percussion. Because I think if we can mix this with like a tom or some sort of... that might be cool. So we can also... Oh, okay. I got some ideas now. So let's put this clap in here. Put a reverb on it. And maybe automate this. Automate the wetness of the reverb. And this is what you guys should be doing. Just trying whatever comes to your mind. And I know it's hard to like say, or hard to explain what I'm doing, but it's the fact of just trying random things. So let's turn this down a little bit. So we're going to go for like a little 2-hitter here. A little 2-piece. Let's do a kick. What if we just really distorted this kick? I like that. And one more trick I also forgot to tell you guys, which is pretty much the most used trick ever in dance music. Well, not ever, I'm just kind of making this up. But is reversing the lead. And reverses are so important for any sound you're trying to do. So if we take one piece of this lead right here, so we have our sample right there. Then we can drag this out, fruity reverb 2, put the decay and wetness pretty high, then play it once again, and then record that. And then we're going to reverse this. We can drag it out of here, go to reverse, and then I love to do a little automation piece, and we can do it for this last little part. And this is going to sound sweet. And a cool thing to do on this, like these little tricks I think are really cool. And it's up to taste too. Like you don't have to do any of this. Like try around with a bunch of things. Put the wobble effect on RC20. It's whatever you want to do. Like they both sound super dope. So the final thing that we're going to do is create a bunch of what would be automations of volume, low cutting, high cutting, and then also turning the width down too. And what we're going to do is I don't know if I know people do this because I've heard someone else doing this. Therefore, I tried it out and it's amazing. We're going to use RC20. Like, why are we using RC20? So we're going to be automating the gain, turning the width down, and then also we can get the tone down too, a little darker, a low cut. Like this is all in one plugin. And this is the kicker. This is the great part. If we turn the magnitude down, you guys can see on the RC20, it gradually does it. So like this is exactly what we're looking for. It's not like a mix, it's like an amount. So we can automate that magnitude. And this makes your build up so easy. Like it's literally just one. It's basically Endless Smile, but you can really tweak it to how you like it. So let's for the second half, just for when those two come in, we got... You can really hear that it gradually goes down to center, center, center. And then right when those claps and kick come in, it just goes... Poof. Guys, this is what the final drop build, or the build for the whole song sounds like. So let's take a listen. So guys, that is it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you learned something from this. Like build-ups are really, you can make them really complicated. I listen to songs where they're really complicated and where they're really simple. So I love a nice simple, and I love a nice complicated build-up. So basically try a bunch of things out. I hope you guys picked up a few tips here and there of what I was trying to do here. So if you enjoyed the video, please let me know down below, and also subscribe and like the video, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.